federal level, one of the things I've been hearing about quite a bit this past week, since I've been home all week throughout the district, is the price of gas. Gasoline prices continue going up, which is a huge problem, particularly with people who are on fixed income. And for those who are not on fixed income, definitely having a time struggling to get by as it is. There are a couple of things that we definitely can do. I mean, one, which is something we did a couple of years ago but didn't go anywhere in the Senate, deal with the speculation issue on Wall Street. That's definitely one thing. I wouldn't expect anything this year because of the current makeup of the House of Representatives. But these are some of the issues that we have to deal with. The other big issue that we're going to be facing over the next 5 years as a country is as the president starts to draw down the troops in Afghanistan, and over the next 5 years with the retirement of our men and women who are wearing the uniform today, that's about 1 million soldiers will be onto the VA system. As a country, we got to do everything that we can to make sure that the VA has adequate resources so we can take care of the men and women who belong to this country. It's not a time to start cutting back funding to the VA. We ought to be ramping it up because of the huge amount of veterans who are going to be onto the system. The other issue is, and I see some veterans here today. First of all, I want to thank you for your service for this great nation of ours, and for your families as well, for supporting you during your time when you were overseas and we spent time overseas. But it's going to be a team effort. And looking at some of you here in the audience, it's because in the veterans groups here and the elected officials here in the Lewiston area, that we were able to get a brand new community-based outpatient clinic to take care of the veterans here. Because you worked together, you fought hard, and you convinced the VA that we should have a facility here in Lewiston. And it is a fantastic facility. If you haven't had a chance to go visit it, I encourage you to go visit it. It's built exactly like the facility in Bangor, but what's unique about the Lewiston facility and the Bangor facility is actually for the first time that they're actually taking care of female veterans issues, which is extremely important. The demographics within the VA today, as well as in our active military forces, has changed dramatically. We have a lot more females, and we have to deal with unique issues that they are facing as well. So I'm very pleased to see that with the new clinic here in Lewiston and one in Bangor that is addressing those types of issues. The last thing I do want to say is get out there and get involved. I know as I go around the district, people are frustrated with what's happening in Washington, D.C., what's happening in Augusta. And I too am frustrated, and I know I've talked to legislators here in the state of Maine, they're frustrated as well. But if we just sit back and complain without getting out there and trying to make a difference, then it's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. It's important that you get involved. Yes, sometimes because of elected officials, sometimes elected officials don't do themselves any good. And I gave a quote over at the other one, and I'll read it today because when I read it yesterday, I was just flabbergasted at some of my colleagues in Congress. And the stuff that's coming out of their mouth is just unbelievable. And this is a Republican colleague of mine from Oklahoma, Representative John Sullivan. And he had a public forum that he was talking about the budget, where Congress was going to go on the next budget, and how he said that if they could pass in the House, the problem was going to be over on the Senate. But here's what he went on further to say, and I'll quote: "But other than me going over there," referring to going over to the Senate, "with a gun and holding it to their head and maybe killing a couple of them, I don't think they're going to listen unless they get beat." End of quote. That is a quote from a sitting member of Congress on how, what he told his constituents on how we're going to get a budget through. He apologized, but that is just outrageous that any elected official or anyone would state something like that, especially a member of Congress. We actually did have a member of Congress that just got shot last year in the head in Arizona, Gabby Giffords. That's where each and every one of you will come in, to really get out there and let your voices be heard and elect people who represent your issues. So it doesn't have to be that way. But I'll give you an example. And I know some of you actually were in the legislature as well. During my last term at the Senate, we had 17 Democrats, 17. A lot of people thought it was going to be a nightmare, because depending on any given day, we didn't know which party was going to be in the majority. But it worked out well. Better than I ever expected, and actually I think better than most members of the Senate expected. And the reason why it worked out well was the fact that I mentioned to Rick Bennett, who's my Republican counterpart, we started off the session like we always did. Republicans would caucus, Democrats would caucus, would go over the calendar, then we'd go in session. Now for members of the legislature who are here, well, sometimes those caucuses might last a little bit longer because they decide to talk about other issues like hunting, fishing, vacation, or whatever. So what we thought, and try to speed up the process, we'd have a chairs meeting, because half the chairs were Republicans, half the chairs were Democrats. And by going over the calendar together, that should speed up the process. It did. It sped it up quite a bit. We were able to get done a lot of times before noontime, because the House didn't like that, but we were able to get it done because we were sitting in the same room. The second thing that it did, and it wasn't planned or designed that way, it just happened to be, was the fact that each day, and every day, that we were in the President's office going through the calendar as sitting senators, Republicans and Democrats, it built up a line of trust, it opened up a line of communication. We're all there in the same room in an informal way, going over the calendar together. And that trust and communication is what's missing today, both in Washington as well as in Augusta. Because we have ideologues on both sides that's not willing to work together. So it can be done, but we have to work at it as a team. So I want to thank each and every one of you for participating in this process today, because it's going to be you that will make the difference. It's going to be each and every one of you individually and collectively that's going to be making that decision of who's going to control the State House, both on the House and Senate side, as well as in Congress and the next President of the United States. And I encourage us to collectively to think where we want this country to be next year, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Think of what you want your children and grandchildren, what you want them to be left with. And we got to get people elected who will bring your visions, your dreams forward into policies that will change this country. We can't do it alone. We need your help. So once again, thank you very much, and God bless you.